What's going on, guys? Bruce Mattson here, your host show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and we're here to drop our top 30 running back rankings with tiers, so you're ready for the weekend to set those lineups. We're going to be going over those top running backs. If this is something that helps you out, if this is something that you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're doing this every week to help you guys out this season. But let's start digging in. Let's start looking at these rankings. And here we are. This is our tier maker sheet that we're going to use. S is for the studs here. So here are the studs for this week. We got Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Austin Eckler. Not much moving around in this tier. Usually when I do this, I move the guys up and down into tiers because they're from previous rankings. But I'm not really going to move these guys. I'm more leery of Christian McCaffrey. He's not doing Christian McCaffrey things, but the workload's kind of there. So eventually it's going to pop off. I like Saquon a lot just due to volume. The matchup against the Bears is a little iffy. I get that because it can be a slower paced game. But at the same time, he's getting work in the passing game. He's explosive. Jonathan Taylor kind of had a down game for him last weekend. But you get that with volume, along with volatility from week to week. Same thing with Austin Eckler. Catches balls out of the backfield, gets a lot of workload. It's always going to be in shootouts, especially this week against Houston. Houston's always in crazy matchups. So these guys, I'm locked in. I can understand why one or two might fall production-wise, but at the same time, you're starting your studs, and nobody's benching these guys anyways. So this tier is huge. I'm just going to get that out of the way. So let's just start throwing these guys in here. We got Nick Chubb, Jamal Williams sneaking in there, Derrick Henry, another one, Khalil Herbert, Naji Harris, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook from the injury, huh? And then we got Javonte Williams. So this tier is very different because we got some backups or 1Bs in here that are sneaking in. And really, Jamal Williams is expected to get a lot of work, is expected to get volume, goal line touches. That Detroit Lions offense is very explosive in a different standpoint, but not like the greatest thing on turf type deal, though, like in their own way from a fantasy perspective. Khalil Herbert's an explosive runner, runs well, and could get you some production because he gets volume. Thing is, I like Kamara. I want to move him up. I want to move him up around here. And that's really just because of the volume in the passing game, and he's in a good matchup for that against Minnesota. I think people are a little bit down on him. You're starting him. You're starting Kamara. Naji Harris has been weird this season, but he's in a low-volume game against the Jets. But the Jets can also be a high-volume game because they're sneaky. He's safe. He's not going to bust on you. Khalil Herbert kind of has some bust in him, but I don't believe he's going to bust personally. But it's in the profile for this week, so I'll put Naji ahead of him, but that really doesn't say much. Dalvin Cook is slipping back here. That injury with the shoulder, I don't want that to impact the workload and us miss out and us start him too much. But we'll know Sunday morning. We'll know Sunday morning if he's out or not. Javonte Williams too low. I feel like Aaron Jones is too high as well. Javonte Williams, since he's used a lot in the passing game, bumping him up a lot, and I can see him having a get-right game against the Raiders, against Vegas. I could see him being as valued as anybody up here. Damn it, I'll put him up here. I like how he gets used in the passing game. I like the target share he gets in the offense. They check it down on good bits in the running backs. I love Javonte, and I think a lot of people are high on him as well, so I don't feel like I'm talking out of school with him. So let's start with the other tier. I feel like we got Cook, who might move down, but mainly towards the injury. I don't know. I feel very volatile with him. And Aaron Jones, I hate the matchup here this week. So let's look at these other guys in this next tier. So I got James Conner, Robinson, Lenny Fournette, Cordell Patterson, and Damien Pierce. Damien Pierce getting a knockout because he had some volume. Got, 80 yards rushing last week. He's got a good matchup against the Chargers. I kind of like that. I look for him to get some volume. Maybe he falls in the end zone. Move him up a bit. Cordell Patterson's just in here because he's always a sneaky play. Just Atlanta's a sneaky team in general. I can just see Fournette just being very stable. James Conner against Carolina, that's a slower game as well. I'm going to move him back because Jacksonville and Philly, Philly's been fireworks. They've been kind of tough against the run, but James Robinson's damn good. I want to move Dalvin Cook somewhere around here. Just somewhere around here, and it's because of the injury. Just because he's here doesn't mean I got him ahead of these guys. I got him somewhere in this tier, and the reason why is because of the injury. If he's 100% good to go, and I feel good about him, he's really here-ish because of the volume and workload. But I don't know. I'm not a doctor or anything, and I don't know what's going on with the shoulder. And whatever they say is what they say until they roll him out on the field, and then he gets 5 touches, and it's all for naught. And I hate the matchup for Aaron Jones. And logically, can I really say like his volume is more impactful than James Robinson or James Conner or Lenny Fournette? And he's in a bad matchup this week. Slower paced offense and really sharing the rock with another good running back. Why should I anoint him? So I'm moving him down a little bit. Khalil Herbert's a little risky here, considering what we know about him. We know that the upside's there because he was a top-tier running back last week, but there's some risks there, so I could easily bump him down to this tier as well, just in the front. Because really, what can I say about him and James Robinson that makes him so much better than him? I know a lot of people are talking good about him. I like James Robinson a lot, if you can't tell. I like him. I like Dameon Pierce a lot, too, so let's move him up. I like the matchup good for him this week. It's hard for me to put him ahead of Lenny Fournette, just because Lenny Fournette's so stable. James Conner seems very stable, but I'm not in love with the offense, so let's flop them. And that should be good for this tier. Dalvin Cook is very volatile here. He could be completely out of here if he's out for the week, too. So he is just very fluid, so just think about that going forward. This next tier is Zeke, Kareem Hunt, Joshua Jacobs, my man Gibson. We got the Niners back, Jeff Wilson, A.J. Dillon, and Miles Sanders. Let's pick this tier apart. I make changes as I go along with this. So I hate Zeke right now. Hate the volume of the offense. I hate how he's not been explosive, but there is a chance he gets goal line looks, and it is a divisional matchup against Washington. But it could be a stout, ugly game. Usually these games, or they at least have one that's really ugly and maybe one that's explosive. So you got to account for that. Kareem Hunt could get you as many fantasy points as Nick Chubb if it's a Kareem Hunt game. That's the thing about it. He catches passes out of the backfield. Josh Jacobs, I'm just waiting for him to have his week and really show up here. But I don't know. Jeff Wilson I'm not really into. I like Dillon like the same as Jones almost. So I'm moving him up a bit just because he could fall in the end zone, get enough workload. He's got enough juice to break off some good runs. Gibson's in a tough matchup against Dallas. And then Miles Sanders against Jacksonville. That's an interesting matchup. And you can really see things opening up for him. Plus, he's explosive. I'll pump him up a little bit. I feel good about this tier. Really, I can break this tier in half, with the first 3 being by themselves, and then the back 4, just because of the volatility of their matchups. And that's it for this group. So let's move on to Tier D, which is huge. And we're going to start things off with Devin Singletary, then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, then old Breece Hall, Tony Pollard, Penny, Rashad Penny, I almost called him Royce Penny, Royce Freeman, because I don't know why, Melvin, Mike Gordon, and then Ramondre Stevenson and Damien Harris. I got him as one picture because I did not want to do 2 because I had everything set up, and if I re-downloaded it, it would have shuffled my order of my pictures and it would have jacked me up, and it would have took me like another half hour to get this video out, and I needed to get it out before a certain time. So those are both players, and really when I ranked them, that's Michael Carter I just put in, really when I just ranked them, they're usually neck to neck together because that's usually it's flip a coin between the two. So we got Michael Carter here at the end. We got J.K. Dobbins. And then we got Travis Etienne. And then what the hell? let's throw in Cam Akers. Let's make it 31 guys. That should be 31 guys right there. And now we got to reshuffle this because there's some things about this tier that I like and some things that I don't like and everything else in between. So first things first, with this tier, I like Devin Singletary this week against Baltimore. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring here, and I'm really going to lean in on this matchup. The over-under says it's good. I'm going to move him up here. I'm going to move him up ahead of some of these guys, and I'm going to move Zeke down here with Pollard, and I'm going to move them together. I like Pollard better, so I'll have Pollard ahead of Zeke, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire here against Tampa. I don't like the matchup, so I'm just going to put in the back here, tier C, just because the volume of the offense. Breece Hall, I'm going to keep him at the top of tier D here. And really, he has the potential B and C, or even B, due to his workload in the passing game. But we got Zach Wilson coming back, so we got some ambiguity here. I am done with Rashad Penny. I'm just going to, by default, put him in the back because I'd rather shoot for upside with Etienne, Cam Akers, and J.K. Dobbins. Same thing here with Carter. The thing here is Carter and Hall. You don't know what you're going to get with Zach Wilson coming back because there could be him leaning on Carter or things could open up more the Hall. We just got to wait and see. Melvin Gordon is pretty damn steady. Let's split him and Zeke there. And then the New England backs, I got them as one picture. Ramondre and Harris. One of them's going to hit and one of them's going to be like a top tier RB3, low end RB2. So let's move him like over here somewhere. Right there. Both of them. Because I usually have them sandwiched together anyways. And that's how I like to keep it. Because both those running backs, you don't know which one's going to hit. So really, you just pick one, slap them against the wall, close your eyes, and see what happens. You don't really want to bench them unless you're really good at running back. If you want 0RB, you probably picked one and you just throw one in. But really, if I had to pick between the two, Ramondre would be the one I'd be going after if I had to pick. But that doesn't say much. So I'm not 100% confident. So don't even take that as advice. Do what you want. Flip the coin if you have to choose between the two. Usually you got one. Not many people have two, but some of you do. Somebody does. But they are stacked together in the rankings anyway. So I'm moving them together. I feel good about this list here, this top tier list. And everything makes sense here for this week. So that's it for the top 30 rankings. Gave you 31 this week. Gave you a little extra. Let me know in the comments if there's anybody you want bumped in here. Usually there's a guy or two that you guys want added in that didn't make the cut or whatever. But that's it. That is the rankings. And I hope it helps you out for week 4. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. Really helps the video and the algorithm. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Really helps out the channel. Helps you out setting your lineups. And I'm dropping content like this all day long, every day. From rankings, waiver wire pickups, trade scenarios, dynasty, redraft, Devy, everything. All here, all year long. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.